Good times, great music at 2 and URFM 103.7. Time to have a look at some of the things happening with our exercise physiologist, Mark Goswell, who is here once again. Good morning, Mark. Thanks as always for coming in. One thing you want to have a look at for us today is fall prevention. Now, when you're very, very young, a fall is just, I fell over.
Fell over, scrape your elbow, get up. You'll be fine.
And there really is a no pun here, but a very sliding scale as we become more senior in years. The same fall can be more devastating.
Incredibly devastating, and it's one of the things that increases our mortality rate, because as soon as you lose the ability to step one foot in front of the other and walk confidently and maintain your balance.
And I'll be honest, a couple of months ago I was walking out into the car park here and ankle went bang. And I sort of fell right over and, busted my leg up, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but when you're in your 60s, 70s and 80s, you have a fall and you break a hip. Well, the reality is you don't come out of hospital.
No, because the other thing, and it was on the tar as well, so it wasn't on the soft, comfy grass. But the first thing I thought of, other than ouch and the odd word that may have happened, is that, you know what, as we age as well, our reflexes to be able to be quick enough to catch ourselves, that disappears as well.
Yeah, that disappears, and it all stems from basically our strength around the pelvis and inner thighs, so the muscles that stabilise our legs and our pelvis that gives us strength and balance. So one of the biggest things that I do when people come in and they're an older population and they say, I've got balance issues, I've got falls issues, and it's because my balance is shot. And it's not, your balance isn't shot, your bum and your legs don't work. And so effectively what's happened is that over time whether it's been through injury or inactivity or illness or whatever it is, essentially what happens is we lose the strength through our glutes, so our buttock muscles, because they're basically the control and the stabilising aspect of our body. And everyone should have the capabilities of standing on one leg, because if we break down the human gait or our walking patterns, at some point we are always balancing and standing on one leg. Now, if you can't stand there on one leg for 30 seconds to a minute, you need to do these exercises that we'll talk about.
All right, so that's your first thing to tick off the list. If I can't do that, I've got to get some exercise.
Yeah, you've got to get some exercise, because if you can't balance on one leg, and it's really easy, you don't have to lift one knee up towards the sky or anything like that. It's literally what we call a hip hike. So you stand on one leg and you literally keep the other leg straight and just elevate the foot off the floor by lifting the opposing hip. So if you're standing on the left leg, you'll literally just elevate or hike the right hip so that you got clearance, and you should be able to hold and sustain that position. Now, you would be blown away by the amount of people that literally just can't even do that.
It's funny, though, that you mentioned that all the time we are standing on one leg. While you're walking, that's exactly what you're doing.
That's what you're doing, and people don't comprehend that.
Except for that blink of a moment where you're swapping feet.
Yeah, and so what happens is when we get older, we get into what I call the old person shuffle, and it's not that where basically they're taking really small steps. The reason they're taking really small steps is not because of weakness it is because of weakness, but they do that to minimise the time that they're balancing on the one leg. So if you have a shorter gait or a shorter step, you're literally just going, quick step, so you're minimising the amount of time you're on one leg.
All right, so we've figured out what may be a bit of an identifier here. Let's throw into those exercises.
3 exercises that everyone can do every day. So you're standing at the kitchen table, you're waiting for the kettle to boil in the morning to have a beautiful coffee. You hold onto the bench for a little bit of extra balance until you get capable. You hike your hip, and then there's literally 3 movements. One is you just take the swinging leg straight out to the side, but keep the foot turned in a little bit. So we're going to work the glute medius.
Yep.
Yeah. The other one is that you swing the leg backwards, but just the leg. You don't move the hips, you don't move the pelvis, you don't swing the rest of the body. It's just the leg that moves. And then the other one is you turn to the side and you literally just lift one knee up. And all of the time, the foot that's hanging in the air does not touch the floor, so you're in a hip hiked position. So literally you just hike that hip, and then it's 3 movements. 15 to 20 out to the side, 15 to 20 back, 15 to 20 straight out in front. And the goal is that when you do, as you progressively get stronger and stronger, you do it without hanging on.
All right, so I've stood up. I'm going to give it a go. So
right,
we've got this nice little bench in front of us, so that's good.
You're going to hike your hip. So you're literally going to keep both legs straight, one hip.
I went on my tippy toes. That's not right.
So you literally just lift your hip up.
Is this right? No? Sort of?
No. So you literally just lift the foot up off the floor.
Oh, okay, gotcha, yep.
Yeah.
There we go. Right foot's up. Yep.
Straight out to the side.
Yep.
Yeah, without hanging on.
Oh, without hanging on. Well,
you without hanging on.
There we go. Yep.
Yeah. And then you swing the leg back.
Yep.
And then you stand to the side and just swing it up.
Hang on. And
your foot should never touch the floor.
Now, the swinging one I can do easily. No problem. I better do the other leg first to make sure. The swinging one's easy, but the side to the side I found was...
Side to side's harder because you're shifting your weight out to the side, so your other leg has to work twice as hard, and your obliques, so abs need to work to keep and control that balance.
Start with the swinging one. That's the easiest one. Then do the side one, maybe.
Yeah, but you'd be surprised how many people find that simple task very challenging. And if you're one of those people that find that simple task challenging, you 100% need to do some work on it. And as we get older and older, our risk of falls increase. And as I said to everyone, it's like all my older clients is if you end up in hospital from a fall, the likelihood of coming out is quite low. And particularly if you've got low muscle tone, low fitness, low health. And so we want to avoid that. I mean, we're talking about the hospital system and doctors on the radio now.
Yeah.
The system is flooded. And a lot of it is about preventable things that we can minimise and stay out of the hospital system, stay out of the medical system just by get stronger, get fitter, do what you can do, take control of what you can control. And everyone can control how strong their legs are. It's not hard.
Either the toast or the coffee tomorrow morning. We'll give it a go. Mark, It's always a pleasure. Thanks for your time.
Always a pleasure, mate.
And if you'd love Mark to cover a couple of things for us, he can do that next week. You can send him an email now. Ask Mark at 2NURFM.com.